Hey everyone, long time no see. I'm gonna start doing another recording session of Josh Level Pack 6. I actually had previously recorded about 9 episodes, not episodes, but 9 stages worth of stuff that I accidentally deleted. So this particular edition will just be me looking at the solution sets and talking about the level. And I guess the good part is that you won't have to see me fail a lot. The bad part is you won't be able to hear all this quality content that I was just talking about for about 2 hours. So if I just push play, it's probably going to do it. Yep. Sweet. And it even has sound. Great. So with this level, Jagged Canyon, I actually liked a lot because I enjoy levels where the sequence matters and how you do things, but I like that it's pretty much self-contained. Um, it's really difficult for me, at least, to kind of remember things that I may have passed up, earlier on in a level, or like the very beginning of a level has a bomb and you have to bring a block there, but then you forget about it by the time you get to the end of the level where the block's given to you. So I actually really like this level a lot. It took me a few tries, but I think it's pretty clever. Um, I noticed that I learned a new kind of chips challenge mechanic in the sense that if a monster's face a certain direction and you release a trap, it doesn't do anything. But if you give it one space to bounce off of something, it'll go the opposite direction. Because I thought, like, if you didn't move the block, if you put a block right next to a trap, I thought it would just bounce automatically, but it actually has to be able to move one step before it works. So I think at this part, I kept dying because I was like, oh, there's fire, and I just, like, didn't even bother to look at the fire boots. Just kind of funny. Um, in terms of interesting things going on in my life, apparently I was confused at this point. Um, Interesting things going on in my life. I don't know what I had said in prior, what I said when I recorded last, or versus what I had said already in a different episode. But essentially, work's been going okay. I've been studying a lot of Japanese. Um, I had mentioned that I actually worked with someone from the makers of the Nancy Drew video games to get their products stocked on our online store, which was pretty fun. It was exciting because I actually had sent them an email, not expecting them to get back to me, and they actually did, so it was kind of cool. Um, and yeah, just kind of discovering new websites to learn Japanese from, and I don't know if I gave my spiel already about learning a language, but definitely really important um, to not believe all the haters who say, "Oh, you can't learn a language unless you live in the country for X years." I think you could do whatever you need to do without actually having to live there. Um, Come on, Mike, you can do it. I'm just checking the line to see if I hit this button, what's going to happen. Yeah. So, 243, probably the bold time because, you can't get any faster than that. Next is membrane. Go. Membrane is a classic maze-like level where essentially it's the same pattern repeating over and over and over again, and the only real difference is where the walls are placed. Because if you check the diagonals, the traps, the fire, the water, and the bombs, they're all like equidistant from each other. Um, this one's not really that hard. I just kind of tried to follow a certain pattern where I started with the right side and then moved on to the left side. This level, I actually had gotten all the chips and accidentally jumped into the water at the very end, but you won't have to see that. Um, I don't know. Look at me go. Just plowing through this game. Like, I'm not even gonna get that shit because I'll get it when I get to the bat when I get back. There, got it. Um, yeah. Been playing a lot of Steam has some really great games that are pretty cheap, especially if you get them during any like winter sale or Chinese New Year sale or whatever. I've been playing this random game called I think it's called like Happy Panda Adventure or whatever. Paid 99 cents for it. It's like a classic indie platformer, but it's pretty fun. Definitely passes the time. I mean, that's one thing that I never really understood in terms of maybe it's just because I'm kind of an introvert. But like I spend most of my time like either playing games or reading or hanging out with the family. And then like whenever people ask me like, "Oh, how was your weekend?" or like what do you have planned for tonight? I'm just like, I don't know. I just like go home and hang out with the family. But like everyone I talk to always has like plans or always doing things. And I remember asking, I don't know if it was a friend or a coworker or something, but I was like, how do people always have things going on? Right? And maybe I have a feeling I'm kind of like alone on this one because no one is able to really relate that I've found so far, but everyone always has plans. There's always like something going on. I'm just like, where do you find these things? Because usually like on a weekend, I'll just wake up, work out a little bit, play games, or like go to a farmer's market, and that's essentially like my entire weekend. Um, People always have things to do. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but whatever. When I was younger, I used to get like really distraught about it. Like I would spend way too much effort trying to make plans. Then I realized I didn't actually want to do the things that I was making plans to do. Can a brother relate? If not, that's okay too. Quests for the last two chips. Did it. Next level. Flaming Wasp Hive. This one was pretty fun. Essentially, it's a quest to disrupt the flow of bugs so that they hit all those bombs. And essentially, what that entails is just getting to that green button in the center. So, a lot of just like walking in fire and making sure you don't make any stupid moves. Not too bad. All of these levels so far have had really generous time limits, which is good because it takes me a while to think about things. I've been trying to find other games that are similar to this in terms of um like puzzle games, but not like Sudoku style, but like this and Jetpack and like you're just moving a character trying to collect things. I remember in when Windows 95 came out, they had like a cat and mouse game that I used to play all the time where you had to like collect cheese, and it was pretty fun, but it wasn't like a puzzle game. It was just kind of like don't get hit by the cat. I hope that bomb noise doesn't get obnoxious when you have to listen to it, but I turned the game audio down just a little bit just now. Open that green door and that's it. We did it. I just gotta follow the bug. I was confused. I was like, is there something else that I need to do? Because I don't hear a bomb noise. There it is. So do you guys prefer coffee or tea? And like, I mean, any kind of coffee or any kind of tea. Like, if you had a choice, would you pick tea or coffee? Because I'm definitely a tea kind of person. Besides the fact that there's just like infinitely more flavors of tea than there is coffee. Um, Something about tea just like makes me feel calmer. Coffee's kind of like, oh, I'm on the go. I need to like wake up. Ugh. But tea is always like nice and calm, and I'm just sipping on it while I'm getting work done. All right, so this level's Enterprise. It's a pretty cool stage because there's a lot of pieces that you can, even though it's sequential, like you have to do certain things in order. I like that it all takes place like in a very confined area that you can reach different parts using that force floor on the edges. Um, the one thing I found most confusing about this was kind of again going back to the rules of chips challenge. Like I didn't realize you could push a block off a force floor. I didn't realize that you can push a block over a red key. But then once I did those things, I was like, okay, I get it. Um, I definitely had much more trouble with this part than the other half of the stage on the bottom. Probably because again, there was a lot of like block pushing that you make one mistake and it's over. And the pop-up walls are definitely not the best because if you make a mistake with those, then you definitely have to start over because there's no way to salvage that. It's funny. It's funny to see like when you stop to think about things. Like obviously, I was confused at this part because I think the prior attempt I had hit. I thought like, oh, I'll just do each trap button one at a time, but there's actually like you have to do it in a particular sequence because you only get one shot. Like a particular block has to go in each of the two areas to unlock the chips. Now the last part for this half is just to go around and yep. I've also been looking for, in terms of puzzle games, not only games like these, but or Chip Challenge, but also games that are like Myst. So a while ago, I was introduced to the REM series, and I played through. Well, I played through the fourth one, and had watched Let's Plays of the first three. And it's definitely fun. Definitely way too esoteric for anything I can complete on my own, but um, the ambiance is really cool. So I came across The Witness, which is definitely a Myst-like game. The only thing that I have an issue with is that at least games like Myst and to a much lesser degree REM, they had a plot that kind of mattered. I mean, in Myst, you definitely needed to know what was going on in the story, or else it just wouldn't make sense. But in The Witness, there really isn't a story at all. Actually, I'm sure there's some like artsy fartsy, like you're not getting it kind of thing message, but it, for the most part, it's just like a bunch of puzzles and with like little snippets of dialogue in between. Um, the Talos principle was definitely closer to Miss in that it was a lot more open, or a lot very open ended, and there was a plot, which was really awesome. And I definitely recommend both games to anyone who's interested in the that kind of genre of game. But I'm definitely hoping. Supposedly, there's a REM 5 coming out, which who knows. Um, I'd be surprised to be honest because I can't imagine any of those games selling well. Look, more pop-up walls, more blocks, more me not getting off the floor at the right time. Nailed it. Right, next level is Compactor Reactor. Oh, I like this one. I wish we could, if I could somehow find the capture, but obviously I know it's deleted. Um, this one was a fun stage because there's all these teleport rules that I don't know and slash don't care to learn. So I was trying to figure out like how long could I go without pushing a block into a portal. So I don't want to like accidentally kill myself. Um, and they got pretty silly towards the end because I was just like floundering. Well, I missed a good opportunity to get the middle piece. Well, I'm actually trying to think of other puzzle games that I played lately that aren't necessarily Myst-like, but they're fun puzzle games anyway. Hmm. really difficult. I feel like I've played a lot of games, but I don't quite remember a decent chunk of them. That block escaped at some point, so he doesn't have to worry about being part of the compactor reactor anymore. Oh, you can do it. Yeah. Now I need out. Get out. Great. Next time, I'll watch myself take on the next 4 levels. Bye.